Hi, in this video I will show you my colored pages from April 2025. If you are new to this channel, hi, my name is Ina. If not, welcome back. Let's take a quick look at my coloring statistics. I created this Notion board with the help of Notion AI, which is the good side of AI. We'll get to the bad side shortly. This month I colored a total of 11 pages. That makes 41 pages in total for this year. From my list of 25 pages for 2025, I was able to check off 3 more pages this month. So I have already colored 10 out of 25 pages. I will show you which 3 pages they are shortly. Additionally, I colored in 2 untouched books, so I now have only 7 untouched books left. So let's start with the colored pages. The first page is from the book Verzauberte Zuflucht. I bought it on Amazon before I was really into coloring, and especially before I knew that there were many AI-generated coloring books on Amazon. Unfortunately, this book is AI-generated. I should have noticed that when I read the biography of the illustrator on the Amazon page, which sounded very strange and is probably just as AI-generated as her photo and the whole book. However, I thought it was just poorly translated. But then I googled the illustrator after receiving the book. I realized that the person doesn't exist. And I noticed the typical AI errors in the book. Now I have it, so I will color in it. Therefore, just a warning for you not to buy this book, but to support real artists. The page I colored in this book is this fairy house in a bloom. This page is the first of the 3 from the 25 pages for 2025 list, and for the prompt a page with a door. I primed the petals, the roof and the leaves with my Woohoo brush pens. Then I colored the page with my Castle Arts gold colored pencils. The gradient from yellow to orange to pink was done with soft pastels. For the wings on the fairy, the dragonflies and the lines and dots, I used metallic watercolors. As you can see here, the fairy has no face, and the dragonflies looks a bit strange. Just like some flowers, that, especially in their uncolored state, are just shapeless blobs. Like this one, or this, or this. However, if you just color over them, it doesn't stand out as much. The next page is from the book Ivy und der magische Schmetterling, or in English, Ivy and the Inky Butterfly by Joanna Basford. As I mentioned in the last completed pages video, I color this book from front to back, doing at least 1 page each month. The next page I worked on is this one with the strawberries and the cake. Since the previous page turned out a bit dark due to the Castle Arts metallic colored pencils, I wanted to color this one light. Still, some colors from the previous page can be found here. The gold of the swirls was colored with the same Castle Arts metallic colored pencils on the other page, and the light blue is the same here. The color from Ivy's dress is also reflected on the flowers, the strawberries, and the cake. Besides the metallic colored pencils, I used the soft touch and watercolor pencils from Castle Arts. Then I colored the stars and small dots with glitter gel pens. I think the page turned out very beautifully, spring-like. That was Ivy and the Inky Butterfly by Joanna Basford. Next, I colored a page in Botanical, or in German In der Natur by Maria Trolle, specifically a page with the Easter Bunny. This is the second page from the list of 2025, and for the prompt, a page based on a holiday. I started with the Castle Arts watercolor pencils and incorporated some shading as well. After activating the watercolor pencils with water, I liked the result so much that I considered leaving it as it is. However, since I only shaded the Easter Bunny, I went over with the soft touch pencils from Castle Arts and used glitter gel pens for the small details, along with a white acrylic marker from Höhenart for the white stripes on the crocus leaves. If you want to see more closely how I color the picture, there's a color along video on my channel about it. The next book I colored a page from is Die Magie der Natur, or Nature's Magic by Stratton Peterson. I colored this page, Tonic from Apple Cider. This is the third page from the list of 25, and for the prompt, a page set inside a jar. I know that the prompt actually refers to a scene in a jar, but this page was the one that fit best of all my books from the beginning of the year. This page was relatively complex with all the different fruits, vegetables and spices, but I had a lot of fun coloring all the different things as realistically as possible, even though I had no idea what everything was. I would have never guessed that these are the flowers of the turmeric plant. However, I was sure they weren't just any flowers. So I googled plants like horseradish, ginger, clove, pepper, and turmeric until I figured it out. For this page, I exclusively used the soft touch pencils. Especially with such realistic drawings, I like to color them realistically as well, and I think I did quite well. The next page is from the book Mystic Animals, or Geheimnisvolle Krafttiere, also by Stratton Peterson. This page was a whip from my How to Color Snowy Mountains video. In this video, you can see how I colored the mountains with the Castle Arts Harmonious pencils. For the rest, I used the soft touch pencils. For the waves and the movement in the water, I used my new secure jelly roll and a golden gel pen for the starry sky. I also colored this small illustration, but it's too small that I don't count it as an extra page, compared to other books. Then I wanted to color something relaxing in between and started my first page in this glitter coloring book, but it was not relaxing at all. I discovered this book, which is more like a pet, about 2 years ago at Action. I saw that it had paintable glitter and wanted it because it sparkled so beautifully. However, I didn't think about what would be the best way to paint over the glitter without covering it. The pages in this pad are made of coated cardboard, and since they were only glued at the top, they fell apart after flipping through them a few times. The bigger problem, however, is the coated cardboard. The images have glitter in some places and not in others. Where there is no glitter, the surface is extremely smooth, just like under the glitter, but the glitter itself is very rough. I chose the page I liked the least and wanted to try out different art supplies to see what works best. I can already say that nothing worked really well, and accordingly the page doesn't look good. I started with these green areas using alcohol markers, which actually work quite well on the glitter. But the glitter is so sharp-edged that the brush tip of the marker frayed. Since I only have a few green alcohol markers, I wanted to try out some more art supplies. For the magenta here, I used children watercolors, which are a bit chalky. With several layers, they held up reasonably well on the page, but they also covered the glitter. Then I tried to see if colored pencils would work, as you can see here. It didn't work at all. Not even on the now somewhat rough surface from the watercolors. The glitter became visible again, because I probably scraped off the color from the glitter with the colored pencil, leaving only color around the individual glitter particles. Other watercolors didn't work at all, as you can see here. The color don't hold on the smooth surface. Next, I tried regular felt tip pens, but not good ones with brush tips, because I didn't want to ruin those as well. The yellow here definitely looks better through the camera than in real life, and I needed several layers here too. Lastly, I tried wax crayons. They don't hold on the smooth areas, but you can color the glitter with them. However, really only the glitter and not the paper as well. Then I colored the background with a dark alcohol marker. There's no glitter in that area, and you can see how streaky the marker dried. Now I don't really know what to do, because there are already some nice pictures in this book. Like this one. Or the wolf. Or like this portrait. Or even this one here. I will probably buy some more very cheap alcohol markers at some point, so it's not so bad if the tip gets ruined. Also, most of my books are double-sided, and I can't use them in there anyway. An alternative would be to scan the pages and print them out, and then color them without glitter. Let's see what I will do. After this frustration, I moved on to something light, which was really relaxing, namely in this Disney coloring book, which I use just like the Disney Princess one, which I will show shortly, for mindless coloring, to use up my no-name colored pencils and to experiment with watercolors. Even though the paper in this book are as thin as copy paper and therefore warp accordingly, I don't mind in these books, and I just have fun without the pressure of wanting to make it as perfect as possible. I colored Joe from the movie Soul. I based him with watercolors and then went over with colored pencils. Unfortunately, I used a color for the sweater that dries very rough, which made it difficult for me to apply the colored pencils evenly. But as I said, that's totally fine for me in this book. Since the page looked so empty, I wanted to create some kind of background and decided to make a gradient from light blue to black, using musical notes. I colored the large notes that were already there with silver watercolors. Since this thought of coloring a page only with watercolor pencils wouldn't leave me, I colored a page in Astrology by Anna Jaren, specifically this Taurus, fitting for the current zodiac sign. If you want to see how I did that, you shouldn't miss my next video, because I will show how I color this page with watercolor pencils and what to pay attention to when activating them with water. Then, at some point in between, I colored 2 pages in this Disney Princess coloring book. I like to choose a simple one after a detailed page that takes me a long time. The 2 pages are these ones of Moana and her pig Pua. I based both pages with watercolors and then colored over them with colored pencils. The clouds in the background of Moana I painted with colored pencils, and the white edges is done with acrylic paint. I used different tones of green to color these palm leaves in the background of Pua. At the end of the month, it wasn't worth starting a new, more elaborate page, so I color another page in this book, which is Snow White. Here I tried painting only with watercolors and also shading. For the first attempt, I'm very satisfied. To make the background look a bit more interesting, I splattered different metallic watercolors on the page. Those were all my completed pages from April. My favorite pages are definitely these two. Which pages did you like the most? Thanks for watching. Bye!